My dear students, welcome to my channel. Today we will study the complete exercises of the lesson every morning I wake. Let's get started.
Learn English with Lakshman.
When does the speaker pray to the God? यी स्पिकरले भगवानको प्रार्थना कुन समयमा गर्छन्? The speaker prays to the Lord every morning after waking and every evening before going to sleep. Morning and evening prayers show his daily habit of remembering God. He begins the day with gratitude and ends it by seeking God's protection. Through these regular prayers, the speaker expresses his faith and devotion, asking the Lord to watch over all living creatures throughout their lives. What does the speaker pray for? स्पिकरले के का निम्ति प्रे गर्छन्, के का निम्ति प्रार्थना गर्छन्? The speaker prays that the Lord will keep his loving eye on all living creatures. He asks God to bless, to protect, and care for everyone, especially those who are weak and mortal. His prayer is not only for himself but for all creation. It reflects his kindness, compassion, and belief that every living being depends on God's love, mercy, and guidance for life and safety. Who are the poor creatures? Why does the speaker call them poor creatures? Poor creatureहरू भनेका को हुन् र यो यिनीहरूलाई पुअर क्रिएचर किन भनिएको? बिचरा प्राणीहरू किन भनिएको? The poor creatures are all human beings and other living creatures on earth. The speaker calls them poor because they are weak, helpless, and mortal. Their lives are short and they cannot escape death or control their future. They depend on God's mercy and protection. The phrase expresses sympathy for all living beings and reminds readers of the limitations of human life.
What does milk wood sound like? A type of wood or a place? Why? यो मिल्क वुड भनेको के हो जस्तो लाग्छ? एउटा काठ हो कि प्लेस हो, ठाउँ हो, के हो त? Milk wood sounds like a place rather than a type of wood. In the poem, it is presented as the home of people who wake, work, pray, and rest. The name refers to a peaceful village where daily life follows the natural rhythm of morning and evening. It is used as a proper place name, not as the name of a kind of wood or tree.
Why do the inhabitants of Milkwood bow to the setting sun just for now? यो मिल्कवुडका मान्छेहरूले झुकेर नमस्कार गर्छन् सूर्यलाई, तर अहिलेको लागि मात्रै हो, सधैँको लागि होइन भनेर किन? The inhabitants of Milkwood bow to the setting sun as they end the day with prayer and respect for God's creation. The word "but" just for now suggests that the farewell is only temporary because they hope to see the sunrise again the next morning. It expresses hope, faith, and the continuation of life's daily cycle under God's loving care. Reference to the context. Discuss every morning when I wake as a prayer to God. The poem Every Morning When I Wake is a beautiful prayer poem by Dylan Thomas. In this poem, the speaker expresses his deep faith in God by praying both in the morning and in the evening. He asks God to keep his loving eye on all living creatures and protect them from harm. The speaker believes that Every person depends on God's mercy and kindness for life and happiness. The speaker also accepts that no one knows what the future holds. Since the human life is uncertain, he prays to God to bless him and all people with another peaceful morning. He believes that the power over life and death belongs only to God. Through this simple and sincere prayer, the poet teaches the importance of faith, gratitude, humility, and trust in God's love and protection for all his creatures. Why does the speaker make a prayer to God but not to a king, a billionaire, or a scientist? The speaker prays only to God because he believes that God is the creator, protector, and controller of the entire universe. Every living being is born according to God's will, and every life ultimately depends on Him. God alone has the power to bless, guide, and protect all creatures. Therefore, the speaker places his complete faith in God rather than any human being. A king may have political power, a billionaire may possess great wealth, and a scientist may have vast knowledge, but all of them are ordinary humans. They cannot control life, death, and destiny. They are also created by God and are subject to His will. Since only God is eternal and all powerful, the speaker believes that He alone deserves prayer, trust, and devotion. How does the poet highlight the magnificence of God? भगवानको महत्व पोएटले कसरी देखाएका छन्? In every morning when I wake, the poet highlights the magnificence of God by presenting him as the creator and guardian of all living beings. The speaker believes that God watches over everyone with love and mercy. He has the power to protect people, forgive their weaknesses, and guide them throughout life. God's greatness is shown through his kindness, wisdom, and limited power over the universe. The poet also suggests that every new morning is a blessing from God. Human beings cannot guarantee their future because life is uncertain. Only God's grace allows them to see another day. The speaker believes that God understands every person, even with their faults and imperfections. By emphasizing God's love, protection, mercy, and supreme authority, the poet beautifully expresses the greatness and magnificence of God. How does the rhyme scheme of the poem reinforce its message? यो राइम स्किमले यो पोएममा म्यासेजलाई कसरी रिइन्फोर्स गरेको छ? Rhyme is the repetition of similar sounds, usually at the end of lines in a poem. This poem follows an AABB rhyme scheme in which every two consecutive lines rhyme with each other. This regular pattern gives the poem a smooth, gentle, and musical quality. Since the poem is a prayer, the pleasant rhythm creates a calm, peaceful, and devotional mood that suits its theme. The rhyme scheme also strengthens the poem's central message of faith and hope. Its steady rhythm reflects the speaker's confidence in God's instant love, care, and protection. The repeated sound pattern makes the prayer easier to remember and recite. As a result, the poem becomes more meaningful and emotionally effective, allowing readers to appreciate both its musical beauty, and its spiritual message. Reference beyond the text. Does God exist? Give your opinion. The question of whether God exists has been debated since the beginning of human civilization. Some people strongly believe in God, while others do not because they seek scientific evidence. Therefore, the existence of God depends largely on personal faith and belief. In my opinion, God exists. Although we cannot see Him physically, we can experience His presence through faith, hope, and unexpected events in our lives. His existence is like the wind or radiation. We cannot see them directly, but we can see their effects. God gives people strength, peace, and guidance during difficult times. I believe He lives in our hearts and minds and inspires us to do good. Therefore, I believe God is immortal, invisible, and always present in our lives. Please subscribe to support the channel and never miss our English lessons. Thank you.